that the people who created it were absolute sadists.
I feel like, you know how in World War I there's a bunch of like random doctrines that were come alive to just see what sticks, right? I just imagine one of those doctrines was the fucking like, because if you daylight save, you can save some time, and you can do your charges earlier with 20,000 men. Yahoo! And so all the other people, yeah, all the other people just like, that's a genius. I don't know what it does, but it's probably very good because the Germans are using it, and they all copied it. And it's like, okay, now the words are, what the fuck is this?
The Germans had time to adapt already, so everybody else is fucked right now.
True. True. God, I want to check my DMs, but I feel like if I check my DMs, I will get TOS'd. It's let's see. Do I? Wait, is my...
Ting tang, bada bing bang.
Oh, calm down, my good sir. Yeah.
Time for a copyright strike.
Yeah. By humming for like a few seconds, I'm gonna lose all my will to leave. Okay. So here's the interesting thing.
Just literally say something that could appear on a song anywhere, and you'll get copyright struck for it.
Shut up! No.
You said the word. You just said the. That's copyrighted.
From like 15 different sources. You know those images of people who have like 15 snipers sighting at them at the same time? Yeah, that.
You're all playing D&D. That's copyright whilst we're here.
Did you not know that Matthew Mercer invented D&D?
Seriously, trying to rip off Stranger Things with this. No honor, do you?
Wow. So here's
assholes have no
Pretty sure
honor,
I saw a Twilight episode of this once.
So here's a very peculiar thing that I realized about those scenes with snipers, where they're like, oh yeah, we got a bunch of snipers on you. I just imagine that there's like, yes, we need you to kill one target, and it's like, okay, so which one of us goes? All of us. And it's just the most like subtle, like, you're all fucking dog shit.
Which one of us goes?
Yes.
The feature of a sniper
They're
is
all
the fact that
Ken
he's
Dobbs.
efficient.
They're all Ken Dobbs.
In that case, the person will simply not exist afterwards. Like before any of the remains.
Everybody
of the
load your black tips.
Oh my god! So everything
That's when you just don't want them coming back as a lich and want to just blow away their entire existence.
That's
we would like you to make sure that
Okay,
this person never comes back.
To put in perspective, the normal tip is just, you kill someone. The blue tip is for the closed casket. The black tip when you don't want to bother yourself with cleaning it.
Yeah,
Because at
when
that
you
point,
don't
there
want
won't
to
be
bother with
anything
cleanup.
left to clean.
Yeah.
It's similar to things like 9mm kills the body, but
45
45
Yeah, kills the soul.
Two world wars. Let's fucking go.
Also, the sword that you gave me, the short sword, basically is that. It not only destroys the body, it also destroys the soul.
Yeah, disintegration happens to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is it raining again? And it stopped again. Holy hell.
Lecter, quit. Are you making it rain?
I would love to make it rain, but sadly my funds aren't that big yet.
Oh.
Says him with 12 million gold pieces stash. You fucking goblin.
Oh, of course, talking in character. Wait a second. Wait a moment. I have to figure something out real quick. Where the fuck are my characters? Okay. Technically speaking, I can make up to 5 weather changes a day. 6 if we include like regaining spell slots through short rest. Which means, oh shit, I could change it from clear weather all the way to torrential rain over the duration of like a few hours.
But you do that while we're selling umbrellas.
Okay, so
protect yourself from the upcoming apocalypse.
So welcome to session 71. maybe in a few sessions you will have some reinforcements, as in other party members from another campaign. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But, right? Today is not the day where you're gonna get more allies in terms of PCs. This is one of celebration, perhaps, right? So, I guess since everybody talked, and everybody's kind of cool, I gotta ask a simple question, the same one I ask every single fucking week. Are you ready to do this?
Thanks, sir.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes, I've changed my response.
Oh no. Well, the door is over there.
Breaking tradition this late.
Yeah. The door is over there. Wait, that's not a door. It's like, hey, here's a door. It's like, wait, that's not a door. That's a wall with a bunch of bullet holes. Exactly. Anyway.
That's not a door. That's a plane to the elemental plane of fire.
It's a one-way portal to the elemental plane of fire.
So, yeah. So,
Who was that? Dingo?
Yes.
Yep.
No, that was Shadow Plane. Sorry.
No,
it was
no,
fire.
it was Dingo Doodles. Yes, it was
In
the
the-
plane of fire.
So,
Okay.
And the
So.
shadows.
Continue.
So, last we left off, you made a slight detour towards Fawn, knowing that there's one of your brothers there, Lecter. You ventured there without any hitch. Plucky immediately left off for Rumble home because he has some, I guess, people that he wants to meet. And while you were looking for your brother, you came across massive swarms of undead stuck in the ravines of the mountainous range, and you kind of realize that there's like a massive dwarven port on top of this mountain. You ventured even upper, and eventually found your brother encased in ice, a byproduct of the continental dragon that you let loose upon the world. A few warm spells later, and potentially an avatar. Boy. And potentially one of your brother's shots alerting several hundreds, if not thousands, of undead onto your way. You kind of broke free your brother, who then performed a ritual to claim some sort of power of this mountain or a curse or whatever, and then dismantling all the dead that were roaming, setting their souls at peace, and then chucking his greatsword towards the lake. Only Ken knows the true meaning of that gesture, but for everyone else it's a guess. And then, of course, he invited all of you to a feast for celebrations about that thing, which you gladly accepted. So,
No reason to decline.
So, last we left off, you were essentially slowly but surely descending as a massive ship, ever so slightly towards the main big entrance to this dwarven fortress. As everybody kind of is, I guess, on the main deck. Well, majority of people. Oh boy. So, as you make your way towards the, I guess, how you make towards the massive gate or descending slowly, you immediately start to see horns proceed to blow, followed by fireworks that start to crackle in blue and orange light. One of them occasionally hitting the hull of the ship, but doing no damage whatsoever. You're kind of slowly descending as Ragnar, or Radmat, however you want to perceive him, it just kind of idly looks at the massive gates that are slowly unwinding and actually fully hitting the ground. And how low will you get the ship to the actual ground? Because there's no way you can land this whole thing.
Of course not.
Did we ever invent a ladder that
I have
people
rope
can
crit.
come down?
About 100 feet or so from the actual just drop to the ground, Ratman just fucking jumps.
We really should just get a ramp we can just extend from the main deck.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that goes on the list as well.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, 100 feet should be manageable. Anybody who dares may jump with me.
I'm of course doing that because I can trust you to break my fall.
Just because you said that, I'm going to wait until the very last second.
So
Suddenly, you just you look over to Ken. He's off the thing. He's got the T-pose and he just falls back.
So, what you basically have on deck at the moment are, of course, yourselves, Lena, Zvita, of course, Pablo and Jack, your brothers, both of them lecture. Revan 2 is in his room. Zan, Gavel, and Kaz. Zan seems to be very eager to just dive after your robot brother lecture.
Yeah.
While Eleanor is kind of just idly watching as the festivities are slowly unfolding. As you can see, there's just people coming out with pyrotechnics, or I guess from Kendall's perspective, pyrotechnics, as these blackish tubes immediately are lit up and lights can be seen shooting out and exploding in the distance. So yeah, who's going? And who
I'll be
wants to
waiting
bring
for a
some-
few people.
Even though I went off
after
the
they-
edge. Yeah, even though I went off the edge, I come back up flying. I come and see if Lena wants to ride down.
We're definitely bringing Zan because two dwarves together.
Yeah, so
would be fun.
decide what you want to bring, because while they're not gonna loudly exclaim, except for Zan, who already jumped down, everybody's just kind of watching this thing just kind of unfolding. So
I would say main party, Lena if she's interested, Zan because he wants to, and my two brothers.
Okay.
You won't have to cast this on Ken because he's got the
Yeah.
jetpack.
Okay. So yeah, of course.
I assume Lena's being carried, so
Yeah, Lena says.
Have a fall for the collective.
Lena kind of shivers because it's kind of cold outside because it's still, in the mountains and it's surrounded by snow. I will come, but I will not touch a single liquor.
Fair enough.
She kind of nods and then she almost immediately just instinctually jumps on you. Sinking-
Oh yeah, catch.
You don't need to catch her because she sinks her fangs and claws into you. Yeah.
I am going to be holding on for my dear life for her, onto her.
Yeah. But you essentially see about 20 or so dwarves as they all are getting pyrotechnics, all of them cheering your brother's name, Electra. You can hear them loudly, and you see all the dwarves kind of either hugging him or just kind of giving a shake as he seems to be kind of interacting, waving, shaking someone's hand, and just kind of walking by into the keep.
Unless stopped, I would follow at a bit of distance.
Yeah, you see all of them mountain dwarfs, just very covered in dirt and soot, wearing relatively heavy armor and hat plates and chainmails, having relatively decent equipment, everything made of metal. As everybody kind of, they don't really know you, but they congratulate you nonetheless. Just idle celebratory as more and more people coming out with the pyrotechnics. And as you're making into the keep, looking to your left towards I guess southwest, you see from what seems the tiny sparkles of light in the distance of other settlements, they also proceed to light up fireworks.
How much of this shit did I have stored in here? Actually, I'm not going to ask.
So yeah, as you walk, it's almost immediately spiraling descent, and yeah, you can easily keep track of people, and mainly dwarves. Occasionally, what's it called? Underdark dwarf. I forgot his name.
Durga?
Yeah, Durgar, yeah. But all of them relatively celebratory mood, and a spiral leads to this wide opening of, like, I guess hollowed out caves that have been like redecorated and I guess stylized to be aesthetically pleasing as pillars holding, I guess, the head of the mountain. It's just all of a sudden just wide chambers, as far as the eye can see, and of course you see some stones, I guess pillars that are been repurposed to buildings and homes. It's very spacious. The very middle, you would say it's like 200 feet tall of I guess ceiling, from the bottom to the ceiling. And you maybe assume it might go for like a mile or so. Just further down, as to your left and to the right side, about 80 to 90 feet away, you can see just the buildings that are kind of just made into the mountain, and everybody's like celebratory. You see caskets are being rolled out, people are eating, cheering, celebrating. And relatively enough, as you walk to the middle, occasionally one or two dwarves kind of run by with either a basket of bread or ale, and kind of just either gives like a cheers or a pat on the back for any of you, not really minding who you are or where you're going. And yeah, relatively everybody's in a jolly celebratory mood. So,
Sending a message to my brother. Your return and your actions seem to be thought of incredibly highly here. Certainly interesting to see.
the dwarves were fearing the undead. They did not open their gates for more than a century. I'm the first individual that actually came in contact with them after so many years of isolation. And now they're free to do whatever as they please, as their only threat is now gone.
Certainly.
This is the second dwarven fortress I've ever been in, and this one's more spacious than the previous one.
I always think it's interesting to see what groups of people can accomplish if they put their mind to it.
Oh yeah, this
And
group has
dwarven
been very
craftsmanship is just
they've been
a
very
great
efficient
example of this.
with the space. Like they've done open area, but then repurposed that pillar into homes. The last one I was in was less spacious, but every tunnel was a street filled with homes.
Should have seen
Aesthetic-
Forge Night before it got destroyed. That's some dwarven architecture out there.
Indeed.
You almost get like because I'm guessing you're walking like 20, 30 feet away from your brother as he's walking forward? If so, then you can hear him just kind of speaking loudly, but it's to you. Well, isolation for over a century and nowhere to go. You become very detailed in your architecture. One sudden mishap and you might be dead.
On the other side, if you have to see it every single day, might as
Might
well make it
look good.
nice.
Yeah.
The results can't be argued with.
So this road, that there was the spiral. Now you're on this road, or I guess a massive street, and you can feel that you're slowly descending and you're kind of slowly twirling around. About additional 20 minutes in, and you maybe count like several thousand citizens of dwarves here, just idly counting as you're walking by. You as you're kind of just casually walking by, you kind of see Zan just disappear, like not like vanish, but like run into one side of the street and then to the other, as he seems to be interested in the food and the drink they offer. Oh,
He's just sampling everything.
essentially, yes. So,
He's a foodie.
Let's hope he doesn't cause any kind of culture clash.
We just find him, he's overeaten, he's like, ugh.
He's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Somehow.
yeah, that dwarven resilience.
yeah. So
At some point, we'll have to stop using locate person and locate object instead. If he overdoes it.
Okay, so yeah, about 20 or so minutes in, the light is very basic, either lanterns or live torches, but then all of a sudden, in the end of the tunnel, you just see just a sudden, like, gleaming red glow. As a sudden, almost immediate twist, turn, you all of a sudden see another open spiral. But it's more like a open stairway that goes up and down. And it descends into this massive active pool of lava. Or I guess maybe 40, 50 feet above it. And you see this massive, you would assume 10 or 11 story high buildings. You see by the lava pools, they're active forges that are still smithing weapons and armor or whatever they are doing. And you see that there's like this pool is maybe 100 to 120, maybe 50 feet wide in all directions, and is almost perfectly circled, surrounded by stone on all sides. Beyond it, you see this more grand building of, I guess, in carvings of statues into the sides of the wall. And you see in front of this massive, more refined building, a massive table, almost like a feast table, with hundreds of dwarves. And I guess, Kendall, with your passive perception, at the very end, you see what seems to be in of like stone slabbed chairs and of course tables. You see what seems to be a massive throne. Well, massive, like 8 to 9 foot tall. That seems to have a elderly dwarf, maybe in his 50s or 60s in age, who seems to be raising a drink. So, any comments, or are you going to continue on, or anything else you wish to do?
Like, upon entering the room where we see all the smithing and lava and that, I'd say, well, sort of like how the saying goes, out of the cauldron into the fire plane.
Actually, we had a few experiences with that, but
That's a good
that story's
one.
a bit older.
Hey, I'm repurposing out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
Might as well add that to the quote list.
So yeah.
I'm doing that now.
So yeah,
I'm interested whether they have something to say, so I'll just continue on ahead.
yeah. So you're walking by. Additional 5 minutes pass. You're kind of descending, and you can feel the heat of the magma. Occasional bubble and sizzle can be heard, and clangs of metal are echoing in the chambers. But as you pass it and go to, I guess, the main massive building with the engravings and, of course, tables. As you like enter their vision, I guess, a vision of the table close enough, maybe 100 feet or so, all of a sudden you just hear a sudden consecutive cheer of maybe half 100 or so dwarves raising their mugs in the air. Ale is spilling everywhere, even on the fucking floor, and you see this tiny like streak of river just kind of coming
The
from
beer
this...
level is rising.
Oh yes, indeed. And you see an old dwarf at the end of the table, immediately standing on his throne, almost trying to get as much height as possible, and kind of raising his his mug towards Ratmat. And he kind of loudly exclaims, "Well, here's the hero. A little bit late, but better late than never." As everybody proceeds to chuckle. "Come! We're here to feast. You're all also invited, whoever you may be, friend or foe. For today, you're all friends."
See the quotes.
Emily should definitely count as friends. Yeah.
Uh,
I'd
oh-
still try to stick close to Ragnar, but just having an ear on the conversation, like,
What are others people speaking?
Hmm?
Well, roll me those who curious to like see how the table, like the mood on the table is. Roll me an investigation check. If anybody else wants to do anything, do tell. Because you can easily walk by, nobody's stopping you. Everybody you see every single dwarf is armed with some sort of weapon, but everybody has their weapons to the side or even just on the ground, as everybody's drinking, feasting, or playing cards. As you kind of observe and you get as much talk as possible, everybody's actually just in a very good mood and essentially celebrating that after a century plus the curse has been lifted and now they can wander freely and all the prospects of the surrounding mountains, what they could mine, and also the aspect that they can now mine out wherever they want without a problem of encountering undead and then needing to cave in a tunnel because of it. But yeah, you're all not led, but you know, you follow your brother Electra, and he kind of literally walks almost immediately to the old dwarf and like takes like the second to him seat, as all seats are semi-empty, as you see some dwarves are either walking away to take a piss or vomit out the drink. Some are just you can see just vacant. You can have more than enough space for all of you between all the dwarves. The closest you can get to your brother is literally next to him, but then the next one is like 3 or 4 chairs behind. It's like, you know, semi-open. So if
I think I would sit down right next to him unless someone stops me. One interesting feature about the architecture, I know they are mostly focusing on like masonry and stuff.
Yeah.
Masonry and smithing. Is there like any prominent use of jewelry?
You don't need to roll anything. You look around and some people have either some silver or gold as necklaces or
I'm more
rings.
talking about like gems. Like use of gems and crystals.
You see no one with the gem or crystal on themselves, except for, I guess, the ruler, the king of this fortress. As you see, he has a crown, a very basic crown that is just almost like a band that is encrusted with 3 rubies at the center. And you see a ring that seems to have a jade or emerald And you have a necklace, but necklace just has nothing on it, just plain gold.
No gold
Generally
bands or anything.
speaking, there don't happen to be any special-looking, slightly glowing green gems around.
No, they don't seem to possess any of those. They don't seem to possess any of,
Sad.
at least from the general vicinity.
Maybe a topic for later.
Yeah. So everybody. Yeah, so you all feed it, and the dwarf immediately kind of looks at your brother and says, "Well, come, drink." And he kind of immediately grabs one of the faucets and just kind of pours a mug into your brother's mug and kind of pours to you, slightly reaching out. And then kind of pours himself or tops himself off and just kind of raises his mug towards you and says, "Cheers. You gonna drink?"
Actually, I am, but I'm going to wait a few seconds, checking whether my brother drinks first.
He almost like as soon as he enthusiastically waits for the mug to fill up, and then when he says cheers, he immediately goes for it. He has no
Okay.
sense of hesitation on this part.
I'll follow then.
Yeah.
I'll join them on that.
Constitution saves.
No.
It is dwarven liquor.
Well, surprisingly, this liquor is relatively tame. Well, not like weak, but like tame for dwarvish standards. Like Zan provides a lot of rougher drinks, but relatively pleased. Ken, you can drink if you want. Lena is not drinking anything.
For reference, this is
Out of
whiskey with
respect
Xanax
for
making
her, I am
snaps
not
on-
going to.
So you look around, you see there's like mushrooms, cabbages, pork, and a lot of bread just present on the table.
Anything unique on the table, as in like something that looks a bit out of place for food?
Maybe how they are delivered. Well, not delivered. More like it's all like there's not a lot of variety, but they seem to take the variety and kind of give it a twist.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's nothing too.
Okay, I was just thinking they probably, with being underground for so long, they probably have something unique for food.
You see something equivalent to mushrooms and fungi on the table.
Apart from that, I mean,
yeah. But yeah, relatively everything is kind of simple, and the dwarf just kind of drinks, looks at both of you, and then looks at Radmog. So, found your brother. Good. Now tell me about your adventure. Why did you take you so long? And your brother Mila kind of looks at you, and then looks at the dwarf and says, I don't know if your scouts spotted it, but several days, weeks, he kind of looks at you as like a reference lecture.
Maybe a bit longer. Honestly, I don't quite know.
Continental.
Actually,
yeah.
Wasn't that just a few days ago?
It was
like a week.
Yes, it was literally just a week ago.
Yeah, a week. Yeah. I'll say a week then.
A giant dragon flew by and froze me in place as well as preparing the final steps of the ritual. And the dwarf almost immediately kind of nods. We heard about it. Apparently all the scouts who were on patrol and were on the scout duty fell asleep. Magically wise, they couldn't wake up for hours. But, well, it's over.
The thing still exists, but at least it's not here anymore.
Screw the dragon. May it nest somewhere else, but not here. For we are free of the curse finally, and now we can set up upon those lands proper. And kind of points at your brother. And we're gonna make that statue of bronze, so don't you worry. Once we get enough ore. He kind of nods to himself. You know you're welcome to stay here if you wish. You're like kin. Your brother immediately shakes his head slightly. maybe we'll come to visit, but the world is vast, and there are more individuals that are in need of trouble, and even in deeper trouble than you were. But I'll come to visit. I'll come to visit. And he kind of gives like a jolly slap on the man's back, and they just kind of chuckle to each other for a bit. And then looks at you, Lecter.
Yeah.
So, do you know of
Things are
someone
different.
who might be in trouble or in need of aid?
A few.
Good.
Honestly, everyone has their own troubles. Continuous stories, and it just develops like this.
Mm-hmm.
Some problems emerge, some are solved, some solve themselves. And at least right now, there's a few more open things.
So,
I think it's one of those is something that Ragnar here can help me with.
the dwarf kind of nods. Well, he's free to go wherever he pleases, and he did more than enough to aid us in our time of need. But do tell us, I guess, brother of Ragnar, what kind of adventures you've been through? Do share your tale. So, Lecter,
Oh,
decide.
fuck, where am I going to start?
Yeah, the Lecter, decide what you want to tell him. Ken and Revan, are you doing anything? Because at the moment you're just in a very jolly mood with a bunch of dwarves who are drinking, singing, praising, or just having a good time.
Not really.
Well-
Mostly keeping my attention on Lena, making sure she's comfortable. Give me just a sec. There's somebody at my door.
Well, one thing I'm doing is I'm tapping into my previous experience as a circus performer, and you said some of them were playing cards. I'm essentially pulling out some of my own tricks, utilizing some of the features of being a, you know, for instance, like using my my echo to help with that.
Literally playing card tricks.
Yeah, essentially.
Roll me performance check.
Performance roll. That's a +9 too. Jersey 20.
Give me a
So it's
second.
11 +9.
Okay, yeah. With your card tricks, you basically wow the good third to a half of the table of dwarves as they seem to just kind of eye you, and then when I guess this trick is over, they all raise their mugs in celebration to varying tricks.
Yeah.
And Ken, you see that Lena is more than comfortable about it. She kind of leans back. She occasionally eyes the brew, but she seems to be more interested in the meat and in the fungi. Yeah. So,
I just sent you something now. You're
Yeah.
referencing the fungi a lot.
yeah. So, lecture. What kind of stories would you share, or are you just gonna go from start to finish?
I'm going to share 3 stories specifically, but I'm not proclaiming all of the details.
Yeah.
First up, I'm going to talk about the thing that was already part of the conversation, the Continental Dragon.
Yeah.
Specifically, not that we unleashed it, more or less, but specifically the
Technically,
fact
we
that-
didn't.
Witnessing it.
Conveniently
Good point. We didn't.
omitting that detail.
Yeah. Witnessing
We did not unleash it. We witnessed it being unleashed, but I won't be mentioning that either. My point is that I was one to that our team was one to rescue a person that was trapped really close to the epicenter of the emergence of that dragon. So we witnessed like an entire city frozen in solid space, telling stories of like what it was like being in a place that was frozen in time. Then I will be telling, since dragons were a conversation topic already, I will be telling the story of our first dragon kill.
Oh.
Specifically pointing over to Ken about like the greatest shot to ever kill a dragon.
Rolling performance on that. With advantage.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
What's my performance right now? Okay.
Oh yeah.
25.
Oh yeah. Your storytelling skills are immaculate. And you got the awe of everyone surrounding the table, including the dwarf and Ragnar, who seem to be kind of focused on your tail. And when the tail ends, another round of drinks for you, Lecter, and Ken for
Thank
that
you.
excellent shot.
Yeah, and like just as a proof, I'm going to pull out one of the few dragon scales that I still have left. I still have like a handful of them. So
Oh wait, do I have any? From my
I don't remember.
Because remember, there was the other one that we.
Yeah, but that one was revived shortly after.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, no, I've got the silver dragon ones from the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
The one that we amputated.
I should probably not pull those out. Just silver dragons are good.
So.
Yeah. But yeah. Proof of the story. Just to bring it back.
Anything else?
I think. Am I going to tell that story?
Which one?
Yeah. I'm going to tell a story about a demon that we were involved with that was being a general nuisance to not just this area but a lot of the archipelago. Multiple different factions being involved that tried to pass himself off as a god. And the fact that one of our members, who is currently somewhere on the island, but like genuinely we don't know where, is the one who landed the finishing blow on a person that proclaimed divinity. Specifically telling tales of a team member literally grappling him and pulling him into lava, jumping through multiple different realms just to have this fight. And as proof of this story, I'm going to refer to like a few general items that we have of this. Not naming effects, but for example, holding up one of the rings that I have, the Ring of the Spell Thief.
Yeah.
I showed the sword.
That one's also part of that battle. Just mentioning all of the effects that came out of it. Of us becoming killers of false deities. So yeah, we've been through a lot of things. Visited many civilizations, and generally speaking, we've been collecting. I think some of the people outside who've been setting up the fireworks, actually, I just realized, did we actually disable the cloud effect?
You did, to show off.
Okay, yeah. The giant metallic vessel that approached the city. That is currently our method of transportation. And whenever we come across people in the archipelago who have nowhere to go or wish to accompany us, with some certain criteria, of course, they may get a place aboard to travel along. And we've been collecting, not just collecting, just gathering a lot of different cultures aboard with different languages, technologies, arts, cuisines, and a lot of different things.
Well, Lecter. Well, just almost like I guess, measures himself on the chair and just kind of plumps down again. Well, you're always welcome here, brother Ragnar, and I guess the hunter of the archipelago.
One of many.
Come, drink. As another
Fourth round.
Yeah. So, as you drink, all of a sudden you see your brother. All of a sudden, immediately does like a 90-degree turn to you. It's like his head just kind of twists 90 degrees. His eye is looking at you, but he's looking above and slightly to the side, as if looking over you. Kind of leaning backwards against the stone chair, but it's not moving.
Do I notice this?
Yeah, we can see that all of a sudden, he's looking somewhere where you came from.
I look in that direction, roughly exactly where he, well, roughly where he is looking. Do I see what he's seeing?
Somewhere around, like, at the ends of the forge area by the pit, the lava pit, what you see is a slender elf, maybe in her 40s, long, crimson hair, wearing quite heavy bluish fur coat, and carrying a giant greatsword that you saw Ragnar throw. And all of a sudden, then you just see Ragnar just kind of looks at you, lecture. I'm sorry for inconvenience, but I got some.
Oh, take your time.
And he kind of nods, and then you get a message in your head from him. Say my farewells for the dwarf. If he asks about me, I'll be joining your ship. As he kind of gets off of the table and just kind of looks at the dwarf, kind of gives a bow, and says, "Well, Rock, I must go for a bit. Have a pleasant feast. I'll be in a bit." And then the dwarf just kind of looks a bit confused, but then kind of shakes his head. Whatever. Do what you wish, lad. You deserve it. And then kind of looks at you like to raise his mug. Drink!
Okay.
It's like, more drink, more food, more table.
Easy.
Yeah,
honestly, just continuing along.
So yeah, not Electra, but are you gonna, Robin? Are you gonna like look at what's gonna transpire? Just gonna.
I'm pretty much. I'm curious about who this elven figure is.
So yeah, she's maybe like 200 or so feet away, but the greatsword that she's carrying with the glinting runes is kind of easy to see in the contrast of the red lava that is emanating a glow. You see Ragnar just kind of approach her, and they kind of just stare at each other, and she kind of hands him the great sword, and then kind of Ragnar almost sheepishly takes it and sheets it behind his back. Then just more staring, and then there's like a slight nod with from the elf, and the warlord just kind of gives like a hand motion forward, and then they seem to be walking away from the feast. Yeah, so you're all left alone on the feasting.
I would love to be invested in what my brother is doing right now, but sadly I'm being held up by the Dwarven King.
I have a sneaking suspicion I know what you've done, Erax, with the foods, because you keep mentioning the mushrooms, so I'm going to take a bite out of one.
I mean, it has this meaty texture to it, and it's quite sour, but not overly.
I'm
Relatively.
waiting for the D10 roll.
Oh no, nothing happens.
Oh, I was thinking you would pull in the magic mushrooms from Natasha's book.
Why would I? It's a feast table. Everybody's celebrating.
There's no need to feel more happy. They are
Yes.
already happy.
Well, no, you don't understand. The magic mushrooms are different.
Nope, that's his choice.
Yeah. So.
Still.
Yeah. But yeah. Technically, nobody's holding you. By any like measure. As you know, every once in a while, everybody's just. Like, the king itself almost doesn't acknowledge your presence as he's, like, drinking or eating, and occasionally talking to, like, a dwarf to the side, and then occasionally looks at you, looks at your empty mug, drink, as
Fills it back up again,
yeah. So, for how long would you feast?
I would say, like, I would have said 5 rounds, but I know I'm already past that. Like,
Have you opened up like a portal in your, well, roughly stomach area so that all the ale is just going out into some random location?
realistically speaking, I have no fucking clue where it's going, so... and honestly, that's not my business right now. I'm feeling mostly fine, so I'll just let it continue.
It goes to the pool.
That is a theory I haven't heard before, but I am going to acknowledge it for now.
Yeah,
Anyway.
whoever's in the pool just gets super drunk.
Yeah, so, I would say... up to 8 rounds?
Okay. What about the rest of you? Because, yeah.
I'm currently carving a chunk out of one of the like roast pigs with my rapier.
Okay, yeah. And because here's the thing, you decide on how many hours you want to spend, because after 8 hours, where would you go? Because
Not 8 hours, 8 rounds.
8 rounds, 8 rounds, which would be like around 30 minutes or so after your brother fled. Evanor is still there, but he literally just stares at at the wall opposite of himself, and when he says drink, he'll just like the Mo drinks, but nothing.
Yeah, a sad person to drink.
Yeah.
You're not a good party person.
But yeah, about half an hour, you see the dwarf is kind of almost not paying attention to you, and kind of stuporously just kind of looks at you once in a while, and like, drink! You know, just...
I think he's going senile in his old age.
No, he's just drunk as fuck.
That too.
That too, yeah.
Okay.
Nah,
see Zan now just unconscious.
Yeah. I will excuse myself saying that I'm going to check what the rest of the team is doing right now, so with that.
Take care, Lecture the Dragon Slayer! Drink! He raises his mug again.
I'll grab the mug and be on my way. I'll put it on some table before we leave the house, but...
Yeah. So yeah, about a good 45 minutes for the rest of you. You see that the lecturer is also leaving. Evan also just kind of nods to the dwarf and just kind of puts the mug away and walks away. So yeah, Ken?
Just gonna
gonna
play it by ear. If Lena wants to leave and go do something else, we'll go and do that.
She seems indifferent of this. She's kind of eating, but she's like also kind of looks relatively bored.
Like, just as I'm about to get up, I quickly ask, "Hey, do you mind if I keep the tankard?"
Yeah, the gift, you can have it.
Thanks. And I'm just saying it's really ornately designed or something.
Yes, it is. It is very well designed, a piece of granite, and it's just very
Oh, just a stone.
yes. But it's
Okay.
so well sculpted it feels like light, and it holds a lot of liquor.
Okay,
Yeah.
this.
And you don't even know who the fuck said it. Like, yeah, you could take it. You just take it anyway. Because everybody's just fucking having a grand old time. And now, my boy, Ken, you were kind of left alone with Lena. And then Lena just kind of looks at the mug. That looks at you. Looks at the mug. And takes it and checks it.
Oh, what a good idea.
At that point, I join her in that revelry.
Oh, she kind of leans back. Relatively good, but goddamn, I said I'm not gonna drink. And she looks at the mug again, bites her lip, and chugs again. Takes almost like
Just
a
trying to moderate ourselves tonight, then.
This is what happens when you go to a dwarven feast. You just feel the need to drink.
Yeah.
There is no way of not drinking.
So are you gonna
Exactly.
do you have actually Kendall? Do you have any moderation at all, or are you just gonna just
When she starts pausing as she's talking, then it's like, I think it's time we made our leave.
roll me a con save for that then? I don't just so
And just as a side note, I'm going to also, if she has to make one, I'm going to let her use one of my spark or flash of genius, so she'll get a +5 modifier on that.
oh my god, really? You gonna give her
Really?
con save?
If we're both doing that,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
making
Yeah,
me
yeah,
do a con,
yeah,
I
yeah.
assume she will.
16, relatively alright. So yeah.
It's
Okay.
There you go.
So let's see.
yeah. Legitimately speaking, though, I would most likely start checking in on the rest of the team. Like, you're right.
Oh, I'm fine.
The plan was to continue. Maybe continue today.
Oh, I mean, a good night's rest after all this fun might be good.
And we also have to
How
be on
late is it
guard.
currently?
So
Like, I have no perception of time right now. How late
Yeah.
is it in?
it is about 11 p.m.
Ah, okay. Like, I was still somewhere in the afternoon. Late afternoon, but yeah, whatever. In that case, it's fine.
Yeah.
We also
So
have to be a bit on guard because.
I'm guessing
what-
you're looking
what
for
we heard.
you're looking for your brother, Lecter. Is that it, right?
Mm.
Yeah. And Revan, what are you doing? You're just retreating, or you?
Well, I'm following Lecter and following
Okay.
him. He went with
Okay,
his
okay.
his elf girlfriend.
This is going to turn into a conga line if anyone's drunk enough.
so to put in perspective, you can see like from like you don't really have much of a like I guess unknown. Okay, roll me investigation. No. Lecter, you don't know where your brother went, and you kind of know like did a casual just kind of walk around, and you can see them both together, kind of close, about halfway, making their way towards the surface, or at least on the main road, as they kind of just walking together, quite slow to the point that it took you like 5 to 6 minutes or so to actually see them in the distance, because you can see a warforged in the sea of dwarves. And you can
It's a bit obvious regarding height.
Yeah, and you can see that. As for Ken and Lena, yeah, it takes a good 2 hours for you to just keep drinking, but we'll come back to you to that. So yeah, how you want to proceed? Because you kind of see them in the distance.
If they're involved in something right now, I'll leave them. Like I'll be approaching, but I won't try to interrupt. So
Okay.
just
You're
joining along.
walking past them. Power walking, I guess. Okay. So. Yeah, so it takes you a good, 4 to 5 minutes to actually catch up. And you see that your brother's kind of leaning over to the elf, who seems to have, the thick bluish hoodie of, what seems to be either fox or some other resemblance of creature's fur on. And he seems to be listening to what she's saying, even though her lips are not moving. And he seems almost kind of enthralled. Occasionally you see him either nodding slightly, as they're just kind of casually walking together, very, very close together.
Mm. If they're heading anywhere close to the surface, I would be following them roughly.
Yeah, they're
making my way out. Yeah,
they're heading towards the surface.
Seems like your brother gets more action than you.
problem with that.
Yeah, but yeah, takes you a good 15 or so minutes. You can see even Zan in the distance, just kind of sitting on one of the tables surrounded by a bunch of dwarves that seems to be dissecting, a cooked pig, and Zan is drinking ale. Just occasionally, he spots you, and kind of gives a half wave before looking back at the table.
He's probably showing off his shotgun.
He does. You don't see him showing off at this moment, but you see it by hand. So. Who knows?
Hey, if he teaches the rest of the dwarves here about shotguns, then God help whoever comes here.
Yeah, shotguns and zombies don't tend to be friends, so there's this kind of an efficient solution for later.
Shotguns and dwarves are a perfect match.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, you take additional 10 minutes. You walk out. It's snowing, it's windy, but of course it's not severely so. And you see them after a few minutes just kind of walk out as well, and kind of start walking towards, I guess, a bit down towards the mountain range, downwards into the darkness, into the night.
Am I going to keep my eye on them? Am I going to be that kind of asshole? Yes. I'll leave my drone somewhere in the distance while making my own way back to the ship.
Roll me a perception check then. Also, is it gonna be a hidden eye?
Nope. It's not too hidden. I'm not having it floating like a fucking star in the middle of the night. I'm going to have it somewhere near the ground. But it's not a directly hidden eye.
Should have had me essentially be my view, because I've got the spoon that completely masks my presence.
I honestly hope that it doesn't actually do that and you're just standing there with a fucking spoon.
Well, no,
I can only be invisible when nobody's looking.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Actually, let's quickly test that out.
Oh no!
No,
something you show as a party trick?
No, I just want to quickly test. Pin later. I did purchase something when we were back at was it Kalna? I don't know if it was a scam or if everyone was just blind, but so it was an item that these Kenku said that would make me perfectly invisible.
Oh my god.
Or just imperceivable. So I just want to test if you guys can see me when I pull it out.
How many drinks have you had tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
That seems fitting for your statement.
Look, anyway, here. I pull it out of my bag holding and just hold it in my hand. Do they see me now?
All of a sudden, you're kind of... if you could blink, like, all of a sudden you just kind of blink, look around, there's nothing in front of you. Kind of look a bit confused, like, what are you doing? Like you kind of lost track of what you're doing for a moment. You remember something about a drone, your brother.
Oh, it is end time a minute. Oh god.
Well, anyway. Just going to walk away.
Yeah.
Okay, so that does work. And I just put it back.
Okay.
Hey, good to know that just wipes me from everyone's memories temporarily.
Okay.
Who said you're returning? We could have fooled a meta joke just now and kicked you from the Discord server, but no.
Oh.
Next time you pull out the spoon, you all of a sudden get banned.
Oh, that'd be awful.
We just
You heard of the ban, Hammer? It's the ban spoon.
No, we just pretend that you never, like, you're not even here. Like, wait, who are you? Why are you doing this? This is a private conversation. So
Everyone just mute Revan.
Oh my god. So,
No, don't.
yeah.
Be torture.
Just gaslighting the shit out of you.
Yeah. Also, so, okay. So, for Lecter's perspective, I guess Revan is just... Are you gonna just ghost spy at them now, or what?
No, I just wanted to test if it actually did work.
Okay.
And
So,
as it turns out, I was right.
yeah. So, Lecter, you observe your brother who walks maybe like a quarter of a mile or so away from you, downwards, but slightly elevates themselves as they seem to be walking a bit up on one of the ravines. And you can see a handful of undead just kind of dead on the floor as they kind of walk over them sometimes. And they seem to got this almost a vantage point of like this one of those mountain heads as they seem to be looking towards the lake. Looking towards the lake, Lecter, you see a massive fucking hole in it. Like, we're talking maybe a square mile of ice just if somebody detonated a depth charge, the ice just scattered everywhere. You see just there. And they seem to just don't say anything, but they kind of sit on the mountaintop and just kind of lean into each other close and just kind of look at shattered ice lake without saying a single word.
I would love to ask a question to Ragnar right now, but I don't want to disturb the situation. So instead, I'm like, how is the entrance of this place fashioned? Is it like grand stairs or something?
The very entrance? It's literally a slope of a mountain that has just I guess one of those like liftable doors or gates, and you know it's all open, and there's no like road or anything, nothing pristine, because over a century in isolation you don't really need roads to anywhere. And yeah, it's relatively just all the pyrotechnics are, you know, just kind of used up, and the tubes are just all scattered around. Oh fuck, it's been an hour already. Shit. So I'm guessing you're just gonna chill in the...
Yep, I'm going to chill somewhere in the area and then just wait for everyone to slowly arrive, and then just get people up back to the ship once it actually becomes relevant.
So, yeah, for Ken and Lena, because everybody just kind of resides. Zan is gonna be Zan.
As usual.
Yeah, Ken and Lena, you take about An hour, additional hour after everybody just kind of left and just kind of drink, and so you see all the tables are kind of filled, and there's not a lot of food left anymore. There's just mainly drinks. And then after you would count like 9th mug, right? And there's the large mugs where it's like, you know, you can almost put your head in, and there's the ones that you can clearly put your fist but nothing else. She has that kind of mug. Well, most of the dwarves has the bigger ones. After like a
Thing that could
mug or
reasonably be
so,
used as a helmet.
Just got a fun image. Let me find that
Yeah.
name and I'll show you.
So after like 10th or so mug, Len all of a sudden just kind of starts staring at the forge. Just kind of eyes it for a good like half a minute or so. And then you see her hand kind of starts tapping on the table until it finds your hand and just kind of grasps it.
Is it time to leave?
No, no. Ah, she sighs deeply, looking up into the ceiling. Do you have any piece of metal on you?
Yeah, a few scripts. Gonna find the best looking piece of metal, hunk of metal I have.
Just wait, and she kind of grabs you by the shoulder and kind of stands up and kind of just almost drags you. You gonna be accepted of it? Hello?
Ken?
God damn it, Ken.
I think,
Are you having a stroke?
No.
no.
Oh, sorry. I forgot I was pushed to talk. It's like, I'm going to accept it.
Okay.
You do it.
So, she kind of haphazardly drags you. Well, I mean, you're not resisting, so it's easy for her to just kind of continue on. And then she kind of makes the forge, and at this point, the forges are abandoned because everybody's kind of celebrating. But the furnaces and the anvils, everything is still usable. Tools are scattered all over the place. As she all of a sudden just starts eyeing the tools and looks around, kind of nods her head and looks at you, Ken. And
Rob would like this place.
and then kind of extends her hand towards you. Give me the finest piece of metal you have. And you see, she has this look of almost like regret, but not like a regret of the choices. More like, I'm about to do something really fucking stupid. And she for the life of her own self cannot look at your eyes for some reason.
He's also wearing sunglasses, so that's the other thing.
Having a possible inkling of what might be going on, I'm going to have a bit of the I'm going to grab her some scrap gold that I've had. It's going to try and turn it into another tuning fork, but I'm going to give it to her.
How much gold is it?
God, I think it's about... God, how much gold does it take to usually do a tuning fork?
Oh my
Depends
fucking...
on the size. I would
Yeah.
reasonably say like enough to make like a small knife.
Something like that, but how much would that be worth?
Jesus, about 100 coins or so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
100.
Wait, are you making a tune fork attuned to a different
Give me
plane?
just a sec.
Oh my god. Ken, it's gonna be free for 100 gold.
Nah, it's gonna be. I'd say it's more like I wanted a hearty chunk, so I want to say it's about a.
You gotta give it more. Ooh. How
Give me
much?
just a sec. About 1,000. worth
She
of
kind
gold?
of looks at the gold, looks at you, and sighs.
There's a slight raise in the eyebrow.
Fine. Damn it. She kind of looks at the nearest melting pot and she puts all the coins into it. And then she proceeds to put it. She even though she's half drunk and she's never been to this place, she seems to be very keen in the forge, as she almost instinctually catches on to how does one melt a thing into it. And she kind of prepares an animal and just starts looking through all the molds, and she seems to pick out the dagger.
Not
Yeah.
exactly what I was hoping for, but or was thinking, not hoping, thinking. But he's going to watch with great interest.
Okay, so takes about good 20 minutes until the metal is nice and hot, and she just kind of pours it into the mold and she starts using up the tools. Occasionally see a dwarf just walking by, just kind of eyeing you for a bit, but then just kind of either not questioning it and moving on, just kind of just looking in curiosity for like a minute or so, walking off. She seems to be making a golden dagger from all the gold you made, but occasionally she almost hesitates. Roll me an insight check.
Okay.
Oh, I just noticed the image in Dice Roller. God damn it.
I've got a catch.
I was gonna say, is that you know nothing. Yeah.
That was a D4.
I know. God damn it, Revan. Okay.
Yes.
Not bad.
Dear.
So for the first time, you see in Lena the stone-faced assassin, potentially the queen somewhere in the deserts in this new world. A similar line of thinking or questioning as you. One that is filled of anxiety and, I guess, fear of potential. When she hesitates and stops. And then when she stops, she almost instinctually kind of looks back at you. And there's mix of emotions each time she looks at you. None of them are bad. She's making something special for you and you alone. Is there anything you wish to do, Ken? As at the moment, the mold is set. It is hot in the anvil as she bangs the metal thinner for it to become more sharper.
He's on the tip of his tongue. He wants to ask what she's doing, but he's also sort of entranced as to what she is doing.
So,
Like,
yeah.
it's very obvious he wants to ask. Kind of like leaning over, just looking at what it is, just inspecting, looking at her occasionally. It's like eventually he'll say, "So what is it you're doing?"
And about this point, the blade is like hot occasionally getting heated and then done. It is quite close to completion actually, and it's relatively fine blade, about 5 or so inches long, and it's mainly for, I guess, one-off stabbing, and it seems like almost like a multi-purpose knife made of gold. Almost out of fear, she jumps, almost rolling out of her skin, as she kind of looks back at you with the look of fear and anxiety. Yes? What? You never seen her this fearful. As if there was not fur. Well, technically, the front of her face is soaking wet.
Just not going to. He's kind of like, punch like, this must be something. It's like, oh, you're right. You seem a bit flustered.
Kind of takes a deep sigh. I am doing a thing. And she kind of looks at the blade. And kind of looks at the forge, and she kind of haphazardly kind of puts it back to heat it up. It's a special blade.
Oh? Is it?
She kind of nods, but she does not seem to be. She does not humor looking at you. Yes, it is a very special blade.
Doesn't, in hearing that, he doesn't know how to proceed. He's just like, just like a, let's see. Is this by now he's picking it up, but he doesn't want to outright.
Roll for your fire damage.
As you see, at this moment, she's dipping the blade.
She seems very flustered and
Yes.
as is, so I'm not going to push her too much about it. I'm just going to just the small quick question here and there. What she wants to answer, she answers. But I know there's something going on.
So she kind of takes a deep breath, looks at the blade, dips the blade in some water, and then continues onward for a few more minutes before only the blade, not the blade, but the actual, like the blade, not the hilt or I guess the pommel, has seen the cooling. And then she kind of looks at herself a bit, looking around her body, kind of tapping patches of herself. And she kind of grabs a knife from her pocket and just starts kind of cutting bits and pieces of her fur off. And then she makes it into a ball. And then she kind of... Are you gonna approach closer to observe? Because at the moment, you don't see the blade, you just see the back of her.
Yes.
Okay. You see that she kind of has this massive tuft of fur on made in the ball, and she immediately, as he gathers and she kind of rubs it all over her hand, she kind of grabs the pummel, the red hot pummel with it, and you hear the singeing sensation, and you smell fur, burnt fur. But she doesn't seem to be flinching at anything. She just takes deep breaths. As she kind of releases, you see that the pummel is cooled off, and you see her tufts of fur kind of congealed, which fur normally does, and you see that her handprint, as she gripped it tightly, remains on it. Then she kind of takes a very deep breath and just kind of looks around. She looks at you, immediately dodges her gaze, and with your passive perception, you can hear... Oh yeah, you know every single language. You just hear, "You got this." As she kind of grabs the blade. And it's a very fine blade, seeing how much time it's spent of gold. Most of its parts still scalding hot, but she grabs the blade nonetheless, kind of dips it in water again, and kind of looks at the sharpness of the blade. She grabs one of those, what's it called? Oh, a grindstones, and just kind of grinds the bit, and kind of gives a few swings and a stab in the air. She's kind of looking up at the blade as she kind of extends it towards the fires of the lava. She kind of takes a deep breath. And then kind of looks at you.
He's standing there with anticipation, waiting to see what's next.
She looks at you, and there's a different feeling of how she looks at you. Not one of hatred or agitation, not of greed or pride, but one of softness towards a loved one. As she takes her steps forward, and you see her knees kind of wobble as she takes steps towards you. She kind of leans closer to you. The blade is still in hand, and she has that stabbing motion. Not stabbing motion, but she has her blade in that she could literally just stab you in the chest if she really wishes you. But she kind of leans against you and says, "I should not have been drinking today. But to the hell of it." She kind of takes a deep breath. Not looking at you, just looking at you, at your, I guess, your left hand. And she just says, "Extend it. Show me your palm."
He's going to do it without hesitation.
She kind of grabs the blade and kind of points at the open palm and kind of presses it slightly, but does not puncture you. She seems to be measuring something in your palm and kind of twirling the blade around. And with a lot more silent and tame sound coming from her, almost in a low growl. How do your customs venerate or celebrate a pair of lovers? Ken, you're quiet.
He's I don't know. I'm trying to think of what to say here. He's like, oh, to be completely honest, it's rather quite dull. Usually we take him out into this grand either restaurant or really beautiful place or one that has great memory. And then either the man or the woman presents the other with a token of their love to wear upon their finger, symbolizing that, proclaiming that their love is true, and they wish to be with each other for the foreseeable future.
She kind of just slightly chuckles to herself, and you hear that she is almost on the verge of tears. That does sound incredibly dull. Indeed. As for us, we do not have much of metal, at least a long time ago. So there is a custom where both the male and the female gather as much of the metal as they possibly can and forge an item of it. Something useful. A blade, an axe, a dagger, a sword, maybe even a spoon. She kind of stares down at the dagger. She's kind of twirling in your palm, and you can see the sensation of burning, like it feels on your hand, but it's not severe. And of course, you see the pressure that she pulls. It gives you like a red streak of a mark, but you know that this blade is sharp, and she could just puncture through your hand if she really meant to. Once you make the object of metal, the first drops after it's made are ones of their loved ones. I wish to do that right now with you.
There's a brief, very brief moment of silence as if she looks him in the eye, looks at him directly.
She looks away.
He then brings his other hand to her chin and then says, "Yes, I would be honored to do this with you."
As soon you see her face has been torn through emotion in this past like good 25 minutes or so. But as soon as you say that, there's all of a sudden a slight sparkle of in her eyes. And then you immediately feel the sensation of the puncture and a swift slide through your entire palm. The blade is still hot and the sensation. Whew, it is one of rended flesh and remnants of fire in the blood. And then almost without hesitation, you see her grab her other hand that she's not holding the blade. And then kind of slit the blade through the palm almost instinctually. She kind of looks at the blade, now covered in both of your bloods. Takes a deep sigh. She kind of looks at it, then looks back at you.
There's just a big grin on his face. Little tear running down his eye.
She
That
kind
is-
of chuckles herself a bit, looks back at you. I love you. And I love you until death will take us apart. And then she kind of leans in to kiss you.
And he's going to reciprocate that love.
Okay. So, time passes. Everybody, I assume, has a long rest, right?
Yep.
Okay. So,
I was making sure not to say anything because it was Chin's RP moment.
yes, happy for you. One final step on the precipice. So,
Yep.
as
Yeah, I'll be helping get people to get back up.
there's only Zan and your brothers. The rest technically can't just go up. But yeah, everybody takes a rest unless Lecter wants to do something through the night.
Since I don't have anything else to do, and I currently have someone else staying in my room as well, I would actually grab something to eat from the, like, what I assume to be decent food, from the cafeteria or whatever, and just take it to my room for Ravantu, R2, whatever.
Yeah.
And just have a bit of a conversation with him.
Okay.
Like,
When you enter the door and you go in, you see him just kind of pacing himself around a chair, and occasionally just looking around. But he seems kind of, nothing torn, nothing changed. Everything is as same as you left. And kind of he sees you walk through and just kind of acknowledges you with a nod.
just the room itself, dimly lit, with like blinding eyes in the doorway. Nah. So, I hope this is adequate enough for your liking. Both referring to the room and the plate of food that I brought.
Oh, yes.
I'll just put it on a table somewhere.
This is relatively fine. I would rather. I do miss the open sky, but I mean, the bed is significantly better than I'm used to. So a loss there and a win there, but overall, pretty good.
It is definitely interesting to see what, apparently, at least to hear about what apparently happened. I mean, I wasn't witness to your powers myself. But from what I can tell, there seems to be power inside you. You just don't know how to control it.
I believe with practice I could, but then again, I don't know what I possess and what I do not.
The easiest way to figure that out is trying it.
I would rather not try it in the room where I cannot exit.
It's easy to create more rooms. Practicing under open sky is a bit more difficult. I'm pretty sure the other you would be a bit more cautious about that.
Maybe. But he kind of looks around. But would you really like me to just tore your room asunder?
There's nothing in here that can't be fixed.
But what if it spreads beyond the room?
If you want to take it to this extent... Honestly, in that case, let's try something different. Follow me.
Yeah.
I'll use prestidigitation again to produce like a small illusionary key. Put it into our doorway. And I'll cast a demiplane.
Okay.
It's a blank stone room dimly lit from an uncertain source. 30 by 30 by 30.
Yeah.
It's literally a cube with a door behind us. And once we're in, I'm actually going to close the portal.
Ah, so you leaving him inside of the demiplane?
Nope, I'm entering in.
Uh-huh.
We're both currently inside. This place is literally sealed away from our existence. So, let it all out. Tell me what you have.
Would you really wish to know?
Sure.
He kind of walks forward. I observed the transaction my brother, let's call it, had with his own father. And I then start to question what are my origins. Am I the opposite of him? Am I a different version of him? What kind of things I possess? So, your Revan, as he calls himself, does not have any wings. For apparently, he lost them to torture. While he kind of extends his hands, and then these magnificent bluish purplish wings sprout out, one that immediately resembles of a rock.
Mm.
And then I came to this line of questioning. For he draws power from his father. Where do I draw my power from? I thought the power came from the one who potentially created the rock that is leading this whole incursion into this world to proclaim, I guess, your friend and me into some sort of ritual sacrifice. But I was wrong. In reality, I possess quite a lot of power. As he extends his hand, and you see the hand shifts and manifests massive talons instead of fingers, and his skin begins to morph into more feathery creatures. More feathery ones of a rock.
Okay.
I believe I'm not even Ravan. I am just an illusion.
An illusion or a shape changer?
kind of looks around a bit.
There's nothing really to look at.
Yeah. He's kind of looking around as if like kind of just eyeing for something. I believe I am not a brother or akin to your Ravan. And his father might be incorrect. I might just be a demon.
Wouldn't be the first one aboard this ship. The question is mostly your intent. And of course, your ability to control it. What you're presenting right now seems decent. Feel free to continue. We got a lot of time on our hands.
All of a sudden, with the hand that he holds out, he kind of gives like a clenching motion with his talons and kind of tries to like swing down. But before like halfway swinging down, all of a sudden just a pristine blue staff manifests with like a small swarm of moths of purple coloration at the very top of it.
Was that your intent?
Indeed.
So, what is it?
I think I know who I am. You are of arcane nature. He kind of looks immediately at you, and you see what the eye that is the artificial one. All of a sudden, it has the look of a raven's as glares at you, and you see his slight, like as if like a very freshly painted wall that is trickling with water, kind of washing the paint. You see just ripples of feathers underneath his skin as he kind of looks at you. Do you know how to modify memory?
I do. Anything you wish to have changed?
Could you remind me who I was, or who am I?
I can certainly try. I guess this is taking some shit away for tonight. Haven't used that spell slot before, and the fact that I'm using it for this specifically is kind of depressing. But I'm casting Modify Memory at 9th level.
Oh my god.
Don't resist.
Bro, he's not gonna resist. Throw me a D100. Oh, for fuck's sake. All of a sudden, as you all of a sudden, as you are having this, like, you know, you kind of touch his head, like come closer and kind of prepare the spell. And as soon as the spell finishes, all of a sudden you just see darkness in front of you and two purplish eyes just open up. As now where Ravan was, there's just a smog of dark mist. And you hear just a long, hollowed out screech. One of distress and anguish that eventually just recoils into absolute fucking anger.
At me?
Just in general, as it recoils back, and you see, as the shadow fades away, you see a massive rock about 14 to 15 feet tall, wielding the massive staff as before. Instead of one pair of wings, there's two pairs of wings. As it kind of recoils back and screeches, looking upwards in pain and then anger, it immediately kind of not jumps forward, but kind of just bends towards you and starts glaring you with his now pristine purple eyes.
Lecter is still standing there, mostly fine.
He kind of twists his head left and right. I greet you, Lecter of the Platinum Seas.
Not too sure about the last part, but hello. Just Lecter for now.
I remember everything. Oh.
Oh dear.
Oh, Rivan.
You just turned him into a Lord of Change from 40k.
So, how do you plan to proceed?
I was imprisoned, my mind numbed by my own pupil. Oh.
Who would that be?
It kind of looks around and just you can hear its neck stretch and there's like a crackling of bones as he kind of almost for the first time starts to move from a decrepit state, and he kind of puffs his chest and then looks back at you, Lecter. My dear pupil, Zaratul. Revan's quarry. Oh, Zaratul. He kind of looks around, and then he kind of stabs his staff into the ground, and all of a sudden, you, Lecter, get fucking kicked out of your plane. And you kind of are left in your room for a bit. Like, you just kind of plop back in. And then you see a swirling purplish void just manifest. And from it comes Revan 2, R2. But this time, you see the eyes are now purplishly glowing, possessing still the raven eyelids before manifesting back to normal ones. And then all of a sudden he kind of squints his eyes and the bluish eye remains back. And then looks at you, Lecter. May my pupil come, thinking that I'm still the lamb for the slaughter. We will deal with this when he comes. As for now, my dear Lecturer of the Platinum Seas, we must be quiet. Not a single word or whisper from this room.
Ace happens to be pretty good at keeping secrets.
Good. Good. I will remain here. I shall meditate upon my new revelations.
How can I ensure that?
You can't. But take it as a token of my goodwill.
I thought I could be a little bit of an asshole here and say I put the spoon away. I was in there the entire time. Nah.
No,
I'm
you
leaving
couldn't.
that.
You
No
couldn't.
way there's no way you got in there. This room is
Well,
a
no,
fucking fortress.
Well, I mean, if I followed Lictor in while not being perceptible.
I mean, he closes the doors after he goes in. He doesn't leave them open. He's efficient, you see.
Yeah, I know. I know, folks.
I'm thinking about doing something. Yep. I just quickly gotta check something. Oh, fuck, this would take way too long. Well, no then. Just to be sure. If I were to... No, actually, let me rephrase that. For further communication, how shall I refer to you?
Refer to me. I shall not tell you my name because that would be a foolish thing to do.
I know the stories of that side of the world,
I'll come back.
but there has to be
with...
something to... Of course.
Yeah. He kind of just sits on the bed and just kind of looks just straight ahead of him. Are you gonna leave him alone now?
Am I doing this? No. This would only make it more dangerous. I'm leaving this for now.
Okay. So yeah, you close the door and
I'm putting a second arcane lock on the door.
Good man. Good man. So, yeah, time passes on as everybody takes a long rest, and
I'm doing so more or less in front of my door, like eyes straight focused on my own door.
Yeah. Hours pass, nothing happens. Ken, if you will, roll me a d12.
Okay.
Okay. So, interestingly enough, for Ken, from your perspective, everything beyond the confession it's kind of became blur, emotional high and whatnot. But when you wake up in your own bed, and for a moment you just feel like you feel like you're in a rush of like your mind just blanked out, almost like kind of forgetting what happened yesterday. But then you look at Lena and everything is fine, but then you start to question yourself, oh, like did everything happen as you remember? And then you look around and you see the blade just kind of implanted into the wall, as if somebody just hit it, just stabbed the wall, and it's just in place. And you can see that it's a golden blade that has markings of blood on it, almost like singed into the metal itself. So you know that what happened
he gives a hearty smile as he looks at it.
So yeah, for everybody's sake, it is about 8-ish a.m. in the morning. Those who wish to exit outside, you find that the deck of the ship is filled with about a feet or so of snow. The water in the pool has frozen over, and relatively just calm as the winds are slightly picking up and the whole sky is cloudy. And in this particular place of the archipelago, it is snowing. So, how would you wish to proceed?
First up, checking whether Ragnar and Evanor are both on the ship.
Avalor was always on the ship. He essentially made it
Mm.
back, and his place. He does not have a room. His place is literally, the floor. Not yeah, literally the floor under the stairs that go from the main deck to, I guess, to below. That's where he resides. He's just chilling there, either sitting or just leaning against the wall.
Ah, the brooding corner.
Yeah, he literally.
Mm. And Ragnar is somewhere to be found.
Whew. Looking around, and it kind of feels off because yesterday it was like tropical feel. Now it's like all wintry feel as you just see snow everywhere. And you go to the tavern and you see that Zan seems to have brought a bunch of bottles and small kegs of stuff, handful of rows of meat just on the counter placed. You see people are having breakfast, but you also see Ragnar and I guess the elven lady kind of looking at Revan's owlbear, and the elf seems to be just kind of petting it. Just kinda... And Ragnar just kind of looks at you and kind of gives like a what's up nod.
Hmm. I think I'll be joining him over there.
Oh, there he is.
And I'll
was wondering
just
where he
start
went.
And he immediately kind of intervenes, says, "A very peculiar creature. Why would you possess such a thing? It seems like a fire hazard."
Don't ask
Well-
me, ask the owner.
Ah,
Looking
Yeah.
around for Ravan.
I'm right behind you.
Ah. Speaking of the
Yeah.
devil.
What's that supposed to mean?
Sorry. Ignore that.
Anyway, yeah, he came up to me and wanted food, and I gave it to him, and he just took a liking to me.
Mhm.
I've been training him since.
Well, keep on doing good work then, seeing that he is not trying to bite anyone.
Oh yes, no, the crew has pretty much. He's essentially the crew's mascot at this point.
Not many.
Everyone loves him.
You just hear in the background, just as because a lot of people are having breakfast, you just hear, "Yeah, we do."
Hi, Zan.
Shit. He immediately does. But yeah, everybody's kind of there. And you see the elf just kind of looking at him and then looking at you. But she says not a single thing, and she is like long crimson hair just over her shoulders, the same familiar blue fur coat, and just kind of very close to Ragnar and does not say a thing. Just kind of occasionally looking at all of you in the surroundings, but mostly eyeing the person that he's with.
There's also another detail about Alistair here. He's probably the last of his kind, because the island he's from is now a solid block of ice.
Lost one of the species right now.
Probably, like,
We're in the
There's a
archipelago. Things change here constantly.
yeah, there's a chance a bunch of them survived or ended up just like the other people that the Continental Dragon throws. Still alive, just in stasis.
He kind of nods. Well, that is an interesting subject. Then kind of looks at you, Lecter. So, I am ready to leave. Well, leave.
Wait, who's talking right now?
Ragnar is looking at you,
Okay.
Lecter.
Hmm?
He says, "We're ready to leave."
On that topic, shortly before departure, I've started to take a liking to knowing who's aboard my ship. sometimes asking maybe a few too many questions. But just in general, may you introduce me? Nodding over to the elf.
Her name is Sylvia. She is the Lady of the Lake. And then you get a message from him. She is an ancient blue dragon that was entrapped in the ice for over a century.
Okay, wait a second.
And we have a silver dragon for the ship. Oh dear.
Ancient blue dragon.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Okay.
Just quickly got the source material.
Quickly writing that down.
Yeah. She will be accompanying me. She will not cause no trouble, but she is a bit shy.
That seems to be a tendency around here. For some.
You see Sylvia just kind of gives like a slight nod towards you, Lecter. But says not a single thing.
I'm just nodding. Slight acknowledgement. Yeah. Still, if that's cleared, then I guess we can continue. We're going to go further south towards Paradise, trying to pick up a few more of our kind.
I am eager to see more of my brothers. I'm all up for it.
Next up on the list, Odvin, most likely in an area decently close to the Feywild.
Also, didn't we encounter one of your brothers at the bottom of the ocean?
He's
It
one of
was
the
a bit
easiest ones to collect because we already know where he is.
Yeah, I know that, but was he a bit of an asshole the last time we met him?
That's his problem, at least now. From what I can tell right now, he will be the second to last one to be convinced. At least if everything goes correctly.
I think your new appearance might help. And that banner.
Maybe. Anyway. I'll be telling the pilots, captains,
Yeah.
of our current course. If you would excuse me for a moment.
They gonna nod and they gonna just they'll just gonna continue spitting the beer.
I should probably go with Alistair to the deck and get rid of all that snow.
Actually, leave that for now.
Really?
I have an interesting idea.
Just as mere presence will melt it.
Yeah, and that is completely fine, but snow seems to have some fun, well, properties that I want to make use of.
Suit yourself. Plus, if you... I think if we got him into the pool, we'd have a hot tub.
That is something to be experimented with later. Anyway, I'll head up to the deck. Actually, to the bridge and inform them that we are going to continue to the original route.
Okay,
That was originally intended to be Paradise.
Can I just tell you something very fucking hilarious?
Yeah.
There's the whole deck is clean. The whole deck is clear of like snow, feet. Everything is smooth except for one bump by the pool that is about the same height of Swinna.
Oh dear. But wasn't she in the pool? Oh no, did she go for a dip in the middle of the frozen... Oh no.
Yeah, Lecter, you come out and you just see this odd thing. Just a thing, is there any...
I'll be checking that.
Okay, you kind of, as soon as you come closer and you kind of want to touch the snow, all of a sudden the whole pile rattles as you see Zvita just kind of swaying her hair back and forth, just kind of shaking off all the snow. Then Emil looks at you. Yes.
How much time did you spend inside there?
Honestly, like 8, 9, maybe 10 hours.
Well,
Humans, am I right?
Suit yourself. Do as you wish. Do you still need the snow?
I couldn't care less, honestly.
Wonderful. In that case, I'll be taking it.
Oh God. Yeah.
Why'd you move to jail?
Most likely an accident.
Yeah, most likely an accident, definitely. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I want to try something. Bam! While the ship starts setting course, I'm going to start casting a rather lengthy spell. And with a bit of snow and a bunch of ruby powder that I still had from a long time ago, I'm going to start building a snowman.
Okay. Yeah, it takes. Okay, so you want to go for paradise, right?
Mm.
Okay, so Paul informs you that it's gonna take a bit of time until you figure out the exact location of where you're gonna head, and he will inform you. And you can hear the ship just kind of, begin to hum its thrusters even further, kind of slowly turning and kind of positioning itself properly before heading out. Yes, so snow.
Yep.
Yes, so how long does it take for you to make? Because
Under normal circumstances, would take 12 hours. But 1 second. Where the fuck is my document? I guess I'm doing it this way. Using my arcane conflux for the day, I'm going to half the duration to 6 hours.
oh my god, you're making a snowman for 6 hours?
Hmm?
Ah.
Specifically an arcane snowman that at the end of the duration, after I take, after I break off a tiny splinter from my finger.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, in my case, it would be more like metal shavings. I'm taking these, and after these 6 hours, the casting time for Simulacrum ends.
Oh god.
The snow then finishes taking shape, and in front of me should be standing a perfect replica of myself.
Alrighty, so 6 hours until Electra is done with his thing using fucking arcane conflux, but so Ken and Revan takes you a good 10 minutes after I guess Lecture just starts his thing, and you all hear a intercom message saying that the estimated location of Lecture's choosing, we will arrive there within 7 to 8 hours. That is all.
What point does this message come?
Like good 10 minutes after you given the order.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so while 6 hours are preoccupied with lecture, what is the rest of you doing for 6 hours, 7 or 8?
Well, if I recall, you were originally teaching the all the Germans and about magic and that.
Yep.
I did say, I think it was the session you were doing that I would probably help at some point, introducing them to some other details like with divinity-related magic.
If you want to do that, feel free, but please do it on the main deck. On
Yeah,
the
that's
one
the
side,
plan.
so they have an open space, second, so they can see the sky after like weeks of spending most of their
Oh
time
yeah,
down
no, I
there.
understand that.
And
That's
third,
awesome.
most importantly, so they can watch their current teacher in arcane magic build a snowman in the background.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so I'm teaching them about. So I explained that there's multiple forms of magic in this world. Like, apart from some of the basic stuff that Linda taught, certain sources of magic can give different results. For instance, my magic power is derived from a god. Depending on the pantheon you follow and depending on the domain you choose, if you wish to become a cleric, you can get very unique and very varied abilities.
So, a lecture lesson. I would like you to roll me a religion check then.
Yeah, religion. Religion. Good thing I decided to do proficiency. 11.
People are listening and you're trying to understand you. While you think you're doing a good job, it doesn't seem to be translating well enough. So
What? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, then I do an example. I pretty much explain. In my case, I am of the trickery domain, meaning I have a lot of things that involve messing with people's heads and illusion, and then I do the mirror image echo combo to show there's multiple of me now.
Yeah, they see that. They nod their heads. They acknowledge the presence of 2 copies of yourself.
Not 2. I did all of it. The echo and I cast mirror image.
So, oh wait, mirror image gives you 2, so 4.
3 actually. So there's 4 of me. There's 5 of me now.
Yeah. They all see you. Just They nod. They nod.
Yeah. Illusion is very useful. If you want to learn illusion, that is sometimes fun if you need to use it in certain circumstances.
Okay.
Yeah.
You take how many hours it take to
I give them just a quick lesson on illusion for
half
a
an hour?
couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple
An
hours.
hour or 2.
An hour or 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. See if I can get some of them to figure that out. Yeah.
I have a fun idea. Just in just in the background, there's a fun, like there's a message that, like I'll just say out loud. If you have some time, come back in like 4 hours. Just a side note to what he's been talking about. A bit of an interesting special case that might be relevant for you guys later. And then he goes back to building a fucking snowman.
Essentially, the easiest one for them to learn right now, since they're at beginner level, is minor illusion.
Do you actually want to teach them a cantrip?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you would not be able to.
I would not be able to teach them a
Would take a
cantrip,
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would take a while, but there's like I'd let them know that minor illusion is the way to start off.
Yes, you gave them theory. Anyway, Ken, anything you would be doing? Cause,
Eventually, we would both wake up, right?
yeah. I'm asking what you do for like 6 or 7 hours. Great.
Damage is weird.
Yeah, now that you realize that you still see the fucking the wound that is kind of, you know, just on your hand. Healing
Well, I
us.
imagine both of us are probably going to wake up, both realize what happened, probably talk about it for a little bit, and maybe just, I don't know, if probably spend the day together.
So what you're gonna do is wake up,
If we
wake
do,
up, talk, and then fuck. Is that what I'm guessing?
I mean, if it leads to that, I ain't
Dude,
gonna.
for fucking sake, Ken.
If it leads to this,
I'm just saying,
I-
only
I-
if it leads to it.
Ken, even the robot gets the fuck. God damn it. But yeah, for how long? Or just go until it's okay. Just fucking drop it anyway. Yeah. You're doing your own thing. You're making love. Okay. I just.
roll for performance.
You know what? Rolling for con save.
Are you serious?
Sure, let's go.
No, I'm not.
Just
We're not
kidding.
doing that.
Just kidding. Anyway, so Lecter, as you're you know, just kind of watch Revan perform. Svita is still in the tub, just minding her own business. Eventually, everybody kind of walk away, and like a good half an hour after you started to go away from the island, the fawn, all of a sudden the weather just almost immediately changes, and the snow and the ice slowly start to melt. But your snow that you're sculpting seems to be relatively stable and does not seem to melt as like the rest. But about 3 hours into your stuff, and most of the deck has been melted, and the ice begins occasionally crack, and you can see with your vision of the drone that Zvita's legs are literally just frozen inside of them. Yeah, Ragnar emerges on the main deck with Sylvia, as he kind of takes steps forward and on, I guess, the main deck, basically towards the front of it, and then you see Sylvia just kind of unbuckles something in her chest, and all of a sudden the whole cloak just kind of drops. Not the cloak, but the whole suit, and is replaced by a cloak that just magically appears on her. And then you see the fursuit, or fucking the fur cloak. Shut up. Just magically vanishes in this like slight bluish tinge, as like it's all disintegrated. And then he kind of looks at, like, your bird kind of looks at her for a bit, and then kind of gives a hand on her shoulder and kind of starts walking towards you, as she kind of watch just wherever they're going. And then kind of approaches you, just kind of observes your snowman.
I can put a carved pumpkin on this and animate it into a snow turtle.
Yeah, and just kind of looks at you, like, and just asks.
Yeah.
What drives you?
It's a mixture between curiosity and convenience. I've never done this before, but...
Oh, no. I'm not talking about the snowman. I'm talking about all of this. I'm talking... You know what I'm talking about. You know who we are. What's your motivation?
Oh, yeah. Mostly curiosity. It's the thing that keeps me around mostly. Just seeing new things, trying out new things, meeting new people. Just learning in general has a magic in of itself.
Curious.
And the effects of learning can definitely not be understated. I mean, I'll take like one hand and like knock on the floor of like the current floor of the ship that we're currently standing on. This vessel is just a sign of what can be achieved if you continue searching for things. When we first encountered the city where we eventually got the ship from, could have made the choice to simply ignore it, but curiosity led us deep into it. And the results paid off.
I would not say curiosity is what drove me, but I guess a purpose. As he kind of looks back a bit on the front of the main deck, and then looks back at you. So, we're gonna reunite with all the brothers.
As many as possible.
I already attempted to talk with one of our brothers on the ship. He's not very talkative, is he? Straight to the point.
Avenor?
He kind of nods.
Yeah, he has some of his own opinions. And a more critical side when referring to our father. But I think for now it's worth putting this aside because once we meet him again, that's the point when we can ask questions.
I really don't have any questions for him. I am more than happy the way I turned out.
So am I, honestly.
You are not much into the books, but do you know The Legend of Vaughn?
I don't, sadly.
Kind of takes a deep sigh. Look, it's just kind of leaning against the railing, just watching you doing the snowman, just building it up, while occasionally glancing at the edge of the main deck towards Sylvia. About 180, 190 years ago, Vaughn manifested in the archipelago. And of course, explorers came and went. And stories of that place manifested in scriptures and books that eventually made towards our palace, towards me. And it spoke about a dragon betrayed by her own kind, her tongue cut out, trapped forever in a solid block of ice. He kind of just looks at her for a bit, pausing. That tale stuck for me through 16, 15 decades, ever since I read it. Always in the back of my head, knowing that I would never be able to do anything or visit the damn place because of what we are.
No, you had the chance.
He kind of nods. When I came to be back on the archipelago and tasked by the Platinum Seas to scour the place, to observe the surroundings, I abandoned the quest immediately, because when I reached Kalna, the soft visage of the city, and stared at what used to be my home, I remember all the tales I read, and I set out to this place immediately.
I was definitely more blind than that. not noticing our home the first time I went there. It led to some interesting stories though. Exploring and, well, honestly, mostly exploring in the name of the Platinum Seas.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm not even sure whether I can still keep that moniker. But
I am technically also of the Platinum Seas, but you don't
do
really
you
see.
still use that name?
He chuckles. Maybe because my eyes might be blue and they like color blue. Maybe because of someone who accompanies me. But I don't even know the organization. That the only time I really saw them, it was one of the people that came with me had clothing with the banner, and that's it.
Who were you traveling with? Did they also set up a group for you?
I, in a port north northeast of town, about 2 days of uh, on boat.
What's your aim?
He kind of nods. It's a very interesting thing. Just midday, arriving from the southern ports of Door to that, accompanied by I guess I wanna be archmage, or I guess a pupil of one, and two dwarven brothers who are essentially mercenaries for hire. And we sailed. We sailed towards Kala, and then I immediately sailed for Pawn. I purposely lost the ship and its crew and my members as I ventured the forest and hid out for weeks until I knew that they left. Then I decided to venture towards the lake. I saw a dragon. I saw its mouth agape, the tongue missing. And I knew that there was something I could do to save her. He kind of chuckles to himself and then looks back at her. And I guess in a way it did. And he kind of just remained silent.
Things turn out in different ways, and, well, the starting crew tends to disappear after some point. I haven't really asked Evernoor about this, but I can imagine how the story went. In my case, it was mostly natural decay. One died and reappeared, now taking on a powerful role here in the archipelago. The other one formally resigned. I still have good memories of both of them, and I'm fine with them being around. A third one was part of the group, never part of the contract, just always around. Disappeared at some point, only showed up recently again. Still, meeting new people is what made this vessel and all of its inhabitants possible. Almost nothing that exists on the ship was brought to us by the Platinum Seas. Not directly, at least.
Just kind of nods. And then takes like almost like a deep breath, looking at you and almost with a cough. Oh, I think it's enough of time. We've been sentimental. Let us.
I got one last question for you.
Do ask.
What's your current opinion on the Platinum Seas? Are you still associated with them? You don't call yourself Ragnar of the Platinum Seas.
Well, I do not call myself of the Platinum Seas. I do not share any ill will of them. He's just gonna shrugs. I do not truly know exactly to what extent that made us what we are. But I guess I am forever thankful for them for providing me an opportunity that I never had. So I guess I am positive for them in a very twisted and cruel way.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, this should be closing off soon. Just continuing to pat ruby-covered snow into the snowman.
So.
Eve are horrible to get right.
Yeah. So, takes more time to essentially build a snowman, but about 3 more hours pass, and occasionally, someone walks on the deck, just looks around. Zvita is just minding her own business, occasionally looking at you, but mostly just looking into the sky, just minding her own business. Then about 6 hours have passed, and technically you have done your your simulacrum.
Yeah, I'll hold off the spell and see, I'll keep it suspended more or less, and wait whether anyone actually showed up for the thing I advertised earlier, that in 6 hours I would have something to show on the topic.
Oh, you for the people, right?
Yeah, that Ravan originally gave a lesson about illusions for.
Ooh. Okay, so. Well. Okay, so about 10 minutes or 5 minutes before you finish the spell, you see one of the girls shows up. One of the, I guess, the gifted ones. Then Nikita shows up, and then a handful of Germans and several Soviets show up. And yeah, you got a group of 17 people that kind of surround you. And the main deck is empty except for Svita, you, and the people.
So, this seems to be decent timing. To summarize what my colleague has been saying, colleague, friend, whatever, has been saying earlier today. Illusion is one of many tools we use to make magic convenient. And what I'm doing right here is a perfect example of this. Most of the time, you're going to treat magic as a tool, something to achieve a certain purpose. Like, for example, the thing I did when teaching you how to bend fire to your will, at least to an extent, of course. And in that sense, you can use magic in many ways to lend you a hand, like this. With that, I'll finish the first layer of the spell, which is the actual snow part. So the snow that is by now a decent replica of me just rises up. So there's now a snow golem. Minecraft. Literally standing on the deck. This is what we call transmutation, turning one thing into another, animating it, making it useful to us. This thing is an almost perfect replica of me, and it's going to aid me in a lot of research and a few projects on here and there. And just so you know, I'm most likely going to use him for assistant purposes for these lessons, because especially if we get into later lessons, I don't want to endanger any of you, unless necessary.
Okay, Unironically,
wait.
okay, unironically, as soon as they see the golem, just kind of, some of them immediately almost flinch because they just realized that the thing just came to life. But then some, take it pretty well, and all of them clap. Because they're generally impressed with it, but I just imagine and then everybody clap moment, but it's like literally out of
Yeah.
uh,
But as you might imagine, having something like this running around in the ship, especially if it was just considered snow at the beginning of this process, can be startling to some people, with a slight glance to the people that flinched just now. That's why, generally speaking, we use something like illusions to soften the blow. I snap once, and the snow, like the ruby part in the snow, just starts glittering. And the snow golem just colors itself in, like literally cliche color book time lapse. It becomes an almost perfect replica of me, except for the part that, like, in my head, there's the silver inlay in the temple. That inlay is not silver. It is, like, I would say, not bronze. What's it called? Ah, God, I just had it for a second. Actually, you know what? Let's just make it golden. So, instead of silver, it is golden.
Gotcha.
So, this is an assistant, and illusion is used to achieve these kinds of purposes. It is really interesting if it can get to this extent, but this is decently high magic. The main reason why I'm telling you this is to introduce you to an assistant for further lessons. And depending on curiosity, we can continue actual lessons either today, tomorrow, or at any time necessary.
It's about 5-ish, no, 4-ish p.m. at the moment. It's, slowly, the sun is slowly going towards westward, and it's becoming a lot more,
Wait, what's the what's the current light level? Like, in the sense.
Oh, it's still bright, but it's cloudy, but it's also slowly but surely making its way.
I just had an idea, but that would be a bit harsh. Sticking to the theme of utility of magic, the other main use, aside from utility in magic, of course, is combat, which you've seen in a few cases, amongst others Stalingrad. So, you may choose now what you want to learn. Either something small in the sense of utility, or something small in the sense of combat. I'm willing to teach you either.
Ooh.
But this has to be a group decision. I'm only teaching one thing.
Oh god. They all look at each other. There's confusion for most of them. Nikita immediately just kind of almost like walks a bit forward and says, I wish to learn more volatile approaches.
Volatile magic takes many different forms.
Maya immediately kind of, the girl immediately kind of steps up and just kind of looks at Nikita and looks at you, lecturer. What about fire? Fire is something.
Want to continue with it?
Yes.
Want to continue? Sorry. Yeah, continue with fire.
Yeah. What are you gonna try to teach them?
Quickly checking something.
Burning hands.
Oh, burning hands is a first level spell. This is the second to last cantrip that I'm teaching them.
Oh god.
So, because there was interest in this, I will actually start teaching them Firebolt.
Oh, okay. Roll me Arcana check. Let's fucking go.
Can I cast skill empowerment beforehand?
Sure. Skill empowerment.
That is 32.
Oh my fucking god.
I'm in the background setting up targets.
Gladly.
Yeah, like I'm just making like the basic scarecrow looking targets.
Oh my fucking god.
Well, might as well help.
Yeah. So, yeah. You. It takes you.
The deck currently looks like one of these shooting ranges.
One of the targets looked suspiciously like Plucky.
Where is Plucky anyway?
So, what do you think of strapped to the wooden stake?
Oh my god.
I'm joking, of course.
Okay, but yeah. Well, here's the thing. Over the course of 2 hours, all those people who were on the deck, are, well, technically, yeah, there are. So, yeah, all of them technically learned Fire Bolt. As for Nikita and the girl,
fuck.
as for them,
Hmm?
they
Lecter just realized what he did.
they got that in a matter of minute or two. I shit you fucking not.
Great.
Quickly reselecting my list for fire-based spells.
You want to teach something else?
I'm looking for something right now.
Do not give them fireball unless you're absolutely sure they're not going to destroy everything. Give them dragon's breath.
Thinking about it.
Oh my god.
That's a second level spell, but that'll be wild.
I feel like Burning Hands could
Give
be...
them the
Burning
opposite,
Hands.
something to make it so that they can put out the fire if it comes out.
That's the problem. That's not what they want. Wait a second. What the fuck does
Tell them for whichever one then you start setting rules for every one you ask to have. I have to give you one.
They're technically sorcerers at this point, right?
They are most definitely sorcerers.
But what type of sorcerer is the worrisome part?
Be careful the wild magic one.
Oh,
Oh,
if
yeah,
that happens, we're going to have a really interesting impro session.
Yeah, it turns out that the is the wild magic one. He casts burning hands, and then immediately a bunch of flumps spawn.
Yeah. Since these two are actually interested into this kind of topic, I'm going to teach them, both of them, Burning Hands.
Roll me an Arcana check. Let's go.
But there's one specific thing I'm looking out for.
You know what? Let me roll something myself. Give me a second.
Oh no, one of them is wild magic.
Oh no. So
38.
okay. So here's the interesting thing. While everybody teaching Fireball is simple, the girl, within like good 15 minutes or so, is able to cast Burning Hands. While Nikita takes additional 20 minutes, so about 35. But by the end of 2 hours, they know how to cast Burning fluently. And
I want to ask one specific thing. Did any of them either injure themselves or cause any kind of minor collateral damage while casting any of the spells for today?
Well, technically, all of them are shooting into the sky or overboard. So no.
Because if someone would have singed themselves, I would have taken that as an impro lesson. But if that didn't happen, wait.
How did they miss the targets?
Yeah, they were, like, I would assume at least some of them were aiming for targets.
Yeah.
I'm quickly checking something. Okay, yeah, that works. So, to finish this up, I'll end the lesson with, of course, telling them about evocation. So the thing that I was teaching all of them today was a kind of energy controlling magic. So while we were only manipulating something that wasn't there before, no, sorry, something that was already there before with control flames, like there was a flame and we just modified it, we actually created something out of nothing using, well, energy that is around us, but we're channeling it into a form that is more beneficial to our personal purpose.
Yeah.
In cleaning up, I would have my simulacrum just run around and collect all of the targets.
Oh, no. So, by the end of it, you see Jack pop his head out and say, "Lecter, land within 15 or so minutes."
Understood.
And then he immediately shuts the thing back. So.
Huh. I
And
can't
yeah,
find the wild magic search table.
Oh yeah. Also, everybody. Okay, Ken. Ken, you're a fucking mess. You're a fucking sweaty fucker. You hear that you'll be reaching your destination within 15 minutes. It's up to you to decide if you wish to continue or not.
Probably best to get going before they start looking for me and find me here. So I'm going to sadly have to call it on.
Did you at least finish?
Might as well. Yeah, of course.
Good.
Oh, that's my cue. Gives her a big old kiss and then starts getting ready to get out there.
So yeah. What about Lecter? What are you gonna do?
After collecting the targets, I'm going to have them help me slightly clean up. And the main feature that I want to do in this case is actually have them, like, these scarecrows would most likely be really simple, but I want them to at least partially like brush off all of the ash and whatever, and put out the last remaining embers. And in the process of doing that, I'm going to do the same thing with me and my simulacrum at the same time, but exclusively using mending and prestidigitation, so we're working at like 3 times the speed.
Okay, yeah.
But with the practical example, this is how utility works.
So. Whew.
Tomorrow, or at whenever the next session is going to be, we're going to try at least a bit of utility. Something to counteract the more destructive side.
I was about to say, are you speaking out of like fourth wall? But oh boy, god damn it! I know a better soundtrack for this. Fuck.
Well, one utility spell you can give them is this guy's self. That's illusion.
I'm thinking about doing that, but for a completely different purpose.
Well, no, you can have me demonstrate, and I end up looking like one of the other people.
I like the idea of teaching them this guy's self, but not telling them the full potential of the spell, and literally just tell them it is like a clothes-changing spell. Not even telling them about the fact that you can use it to disguise yourself completely.
Yeah.
I have to think about a bit of a limit.
Might as well not give them the opportunity.
Like, they are already way too powerful for this.
So
you got 2 prodigies, and it's...
Yeah, you got...
I'll check my first level spells. I know they can't really learn my one.
So... Whew, yeah, a few minutes pass, and let's see. From the from just the horizon, Lecture, you can start to see trees. A lot of fucking trees. As you slowly but surely are approaching a massive island. As far as the eye can see. Except coming a bit closer, and maybe like a good mile away, you can clearly see that a few miles to your left, because you're kind of approaching from the north, you see this massive, I guess, ravine, a river inside of the island. But besides that, you see just a sea of trees, of tropical trees, with occasionally just, you know, some levitation mountainous areas in the distance, but nothing taller than, say, 80 or so feet. About like a good half a mile away. Jack just kind of gets his head out and just looks at you and says, this is technically paradise. Never been here myself, but I know this place is somewhat connected to the Fae. So, is there any specific location? Or are you just gonna drop down and look for someone or something?
Given the rough location. Yeah. We're looking for a certain someone, but realistically speaking, it could be anywhere around. So, leave that up to us. It's been a while since we did a standard search. Just land anywhere near the shore and we'll continue from there.
Maybe the closer to civilization, but the better. To be completely honest.
I mean, the person we're looking for is not directly in civilization.
But it might show us where to go.
Perception check for everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
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 As you're all on the... Oh my god.
We definitely need to take the divinity farming.
Do you know what this is? This is just on point. The start of the session, I get really, really good rolls. The further it goes on, they get worse.
Oh my god. Okay.
And
Okay. You just kind of survey the area. You know, it looks like, you know, a relatively jungle area. Just looking at the treetops, maybe 20, 30 feet tall. Relatively wet, but you know, it's like kind of just mildly, just pretty decent. Maybe just gonna be a lot of wetness inside of it. For Ken though, looking into the horizon as you're flying a good like 300 or 400 feet above it, maybe 4 or 5 miles out, as you're kind of just surveying this forest with occasional bump in altitude, just ever so slightly, you see a dozen or so trees move around in the actual trees. Like, we're talking as if a snake disguised as its surrounding fauna slithering through the tree lines. Something is big and massive out there, and you do not know what it is. But you see just a dozen or so trees move, like as if like connected to something, and it's kind of just moving on its own.
He looks, you see a concerned face, it's like, looks at Lecter, it's like, oh, they suggest we go to somewhere populated. and then looks back to the moving trees. When I
It's
and
further down paradise.
clearly
then.
pointing them out.
Yeah. I'll relay that to Jack. Just lead us further down the shoreline of paradise, leading south, and then we'll hop off somewhere with at least
Okay.
some signs of civilization.
If I recall correctly, we have to be careful regarding the Feywilds. Never make a deal there because it will come back to bite you.
Well,
How do you know about that?
Experience from people I've encountered on the road.
so
At some point, you gotta tell me your life story, like just in one fucking sitting.
so Jack kind
Not
of
right now.
intervenes and says, going south, there's a river that divides Ligna and Paradise. Do we continue down and go to Ligna, or do we go into the river?
That's a good question. Team, you got the map as well. Your opinion?
Whose opinion are you asking?
Ken and Ravon.
You're the one with the map. I didn't. You know, I was never sent it.
I
1
don't
second.
recall. I don't recall having the map.
Sorry for the interruption, Arax. This is kind of important right now. So, what? That's the wrong one.
Oh, that.
So, both of you. So, like, roughly estimating, we're around here. We have 2 different routes we can take. On the outside, or alternatively, on the inside. Both lead down paradise, but in different ways. Your choice.
Outside.
Outside would probably be the shorter path.
Okay. Yep, we're continuing further on the coastline, not down the river.
Okay, down the coastline. Okay, so just slightly to the right. Okay.
And
Okay.
attacked by fish people.
We have a friend.
Wow.
In before we encounter Kuatoa.
Please not.
He's not.
Kuatoa, the god mages.
Let's see. Write it down. Write it down. Okay. Now, I would like everybody to roll me a perception check and a D10. One of you D10.
Why is that always on point? It's accurate.
8, 16.
Oh,
Who's
God.
rolling d10?
Yeah, who's rolling D10?
Not me.
I'll do
there
it.
is. Okay.
Oh, God.
8.
Oh, God. Oh, fuck.
That's it. That's it. That same number as my perception check.
Okay. So, what
Well,
you...
mind you, I understand I'm rolling shit because I technically have one eye. But
Okay, okay.
just one word.
Lecter and Ken, you almost immediately, like, you just kind of look around and you're just kind of eyeing the coast, and then you hear like a snap of branches and twigs, and it's kind of odd because you're like good 600 700 feet away from, you know, the thing, and then you just fucking see it along the fucking coast from the depths of the jungle, just this creature with multiple greenish maws just kind of wriggles itself towards the beachhead and immediately takes a turn right and just goes along the bed, not the bed but like the shore, And you see, Ken, that this creature is some sort of mutated centipede of sorts, as it's both terrifying and almost like fascinatingly mesmerizing. Because you see, it's like a centipede that has like tiny green jade claws that are dragging itself into quick succession, and you see its chassis is dark brownish, but also seems to be engraved with massive jade runes, and inhabits like a small tiny island of its own on top of its back. On it, about, if you have to measure it from the head, like from the head to the bottom, you know that it's like maybe 200 to 20 feet long if you have to measure by the quick succession you had. Somewhere 80 feet from its head, you see someone strung up in a bunch of vines and just kind of put in place. And it looks similarly like Lecter.
Oh, great for you, brother.
We found my brother
Oh.
in like the worst place ever.
Yeah, so good news. Found your brother. Bad news is he's on a big fucking snake.
Centipede.
Plant centipede.
Yeah.
He's on a giant bug.
Wait a
But
sec,
you
like,
know
you
what?
gotta check
You know what
something.
we say in Nord when we find one in our house? Bugs are meant for squashing.
Are you sure about that? By something that's big enough to squash you?
Yeah, you should see the
Why
size of some of our. You should see the size of some of our roaches, motherfucker. You gotta get a
Are they-
Glock. You gotta get a Glock for that one.
Are you sure that they are big enough to cause collateral damage?
Oh yeah, if they're not there, yeah, they eat your pantries really good.
Lecter is
just-
genuinely concerned and making a mental note to never step foot on Norn again.
Especially now. Oh.
Like,
But we
if
have
it
to.
wasn't.
I'm picturing that pest
Hmm.
control in Norn is basically that whole clip from Family Guy.
Oh no, you know what that reminded me of? The elevator scene from Ghostbusters,
Oh god.
where bug catchers, somebody found a roach up on floor 13. It's like, oh, it must have been huge. Bite your head off.
So, what is your next course of action? Because I think with that we're gonna call it, because it's 3 hours since we actually been. Hey, that's a good fucking send off. Holy fucking shit! You know
I
what?
just remembered something and it's awesome.
Trying getting on top of it and not having to fight it.
This is going to be.
This is
We have some
interesting.
techniques to getting over there.
this is gonna be a very interesting thing. Ooh. So with that, do you want to say anything before I'm shutting the stream down? Let's go. You got 30
We're going to turn
seconds.
to pest. We're turning into pest control next session.
Hey, I got proposed to.
Figure out how you want to perceive this little encounter. It's just a bug.
A
Bugs
really
and for
big
squash.
bug, and I can't use the spell Dawn on it because I would immediately vaporize his brother.
Actually, don't worry too much about that.
Oh my god.
I have methods
I
of
would
bringing my